Are you sure you want me to start?
Yeah, I do. I did the last two. You can do this one.
Okay, so much for consistency.
Exactly. Because I couldn't find the words. Just go before we run out of storage.
I don't know how to start these things.
Okay.
What do I say?
I'm just going to do it.
Okay, perfect.
Welcome back to Sensei and The Beard. I'm Sensei and he's The Beard, and today we are going to be breaking down this past UFC event, the main event, and a brief overview of the undercard.
All right, thank you, Sensei. So last night, UFC 291 wrapped up. The BMF title exchanged hands. We're going to break down that fight for you. Kevin Holland submits the submission artist, Michael Chiesa. Their beef is squashed, I hope. Our favorite fighter chose to not fight, and I don't blame him. And his opponent got a new nickname. Derek Lewis did not keep his pants on. I totally missed that call. And we are going to, for the first time ever, test each other's MMA knowledge with a Pop Quiz Hotshot session at the end. Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Derek the Beast Lewis, the Black Beast Lewis, did not keep his pants on, but he did defeat, as predicted, knockout in the first round, DeLima. We called it. We are 1-0, starting off undefeated with our predictions. Derek Lewis got moved up to the main card because our favorite fighter did not fight last night, unfortunately. He came out fast, throwing a flying knee, caught him right on the chin, just like Jorge Masvidal, not quite as violent as that one, but it worked out great, and he retained and really got back his UFC title for the most knockouts ever, 14 now. Mm-hmm. He took it back from Matt Brown, the Immortal. They were tied up at 13. So we are 1-0, but we did blow the call. It was high elevation, but apparently still pretty hot in there. He ended up taking his pants off again.
Yeah, I think part of me thinks that he threw that flying knee because he knew Masvidal would be there that day.
Oh, that could have been. Yes, the promoter is looking much more like a promoter. He was there to hand over the belt. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he loves food, and it shows. Good for you, Jorge. All right, so that brings us to the real main event that did not happen. Hopefully, it probably won't ever happen now. But what happened there?
Something really, really disappointing. So, Michel Pereira missed weight by 3 pounds. He's a weight bully.
Yep.
So, Stephen Thompson decided not to take that fight, rightfully so, in our eyes.
He had nothing to win. Nothing to gain.
He had nothing to gain from that fight. I don't blame him. It's just really disappointing. Yeah.
But we did give Michel Capoeira Pereira a new nickname last time. That was short-lived. Now it is going to be Michel Pierogi Perella because
Pierogi Pereira.
Okay. Pirelli. How about Pirelli Pereira? And we'll figure it out. Anyway, the guy likes to eat, or maybe he's just in the wrong weight class. I mean, he is massive, carries a lot of muscle, and apparently can no longer make 170. So that fight will probably never happen again. I wouldn't take it and do training camp and all that just to have him miss again. So,
although if he didn't have problems cutting weight, that would be a super exciting fight.
Okay, so that would have been amazing. Super disappointing, but there are so many good fights left. It was still a good card. Speaking of which, in that card, they had 2 decisions. The rest of the fight, they all ended in stoppages. So that's exciting.
Complain.
So now our record is 1-0-1. 1 no contest, I guess. I don't know. Disqualification. Yeah, 1 DQ. All right. So moving on to the main event.
Yeah. So the main event was different from the first fight, obviously. I just wanted to break down some of the mechanics and some of the tactics that Gaethje used to win this time. So we noticed a couple of things that he had changed. One one thing that he didn't change that I noticed from last time, you saw a lot of this. He was lunging a lot. We talked about in our last video, you can see on our spreadsheet here, we had his his movement and striking, which included distance management, as a C-. He doesn't have a whole lot of that. On the other note, though, he did change up and figure out.
Yeah, so last time we talked about one of Gage's most crippling techniques is that low calf kick, but when he was fighting the southpaw, I mentioned that he really needs to figure out how to attack that lead leg of Poirier with the low calf kick. And every time, last time he threw it, it was the inside kick, and he'd get countered with big combinations, and he had terrible defense covering up instead of moving his head. And that's really what I think led to him losing the fight. It also started the ending sequence in the first fight was that the counter to the inside leg kick. He made the adjustments. He threw, I stopped counting to like 7 or 8. I don't know, a lot of outside calf kicks to the lead leg, and you could tell the damage was building up on Poirier big time and limiting his movement.
I think after the second one, or like he threw the first one and it hurt him, and after the second one he like lifted his leg and was like, okay.
It like turned him sideways on the second or third one.
I think it was the second one.
And you could tell him he acknowledged a couple of them. They were definitely taking their toll on him. He also had great head movement this time and didn't cover up with the gloves. He really moved his head a lot more than I've ever seen him. And like his other fights of late, he was a lot more measured and as his corner said whenever he came back to the corner after the first round, controlled chaos, baby. Trevor Whitman was very happy. And it was definitely controlled chaos. He was violent and explosive, but he seemed very measured. And I thought his distance management was really good, although he did eat several really big punches.
And he was having a hard time differing between like reaching to try and hit his target and just getting hit, which, I mean, that's kind of the whole thing. Well,
he looked different, a lot different in this fight.
Definitely better this fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. He definitely worked on some technical adjustments rather than just going out swinging.
And I didn't see too many adjustments from Poirier, to be honest.
I think he underestimated what Gaethje was going to improve on.
Yep.
That might have been the death of him.
That definitely did not help. Wasn't a good game plan coming in the same way.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Yeah, I have a few other points here. Also, our concern with him was his cardio. He's very explosive. What we didn't realize is that he's been fighting with a deviated septum all these years, and he got that fixed just like Dricus Du Plessis did, and that at least gave him a lot of confidence going into that Whitaker fight that he just fought a couple weeks ago. And, it didn't get past 1 minute of the second round, but had it gotten there, maybe we would have seen a different level of cardio from Gaethje.
I mean, I think it would have been different, but it might have been like negated by the fact that we're in high elevation.
Yeah, and it was a high output too.
I'd like to see him fight in lower elevation with this fixed deviated septum.
Well, his next fight should be against the champion, and I'm sure it's not going to be back at Salt Lake City.
Yeah. I'd like to see how that improved.
I bet it's going to be at Madison Square Garden.
That wouldn't surprise me, but definitely be interesting because it seems like he's improved a lot.
So, do you have other slides to go through? Because I had something I wanted to talk about with the commentators.
We'll do that later at the end.
Yep.
So I wanted to talk about next how he set up his knockout. So, as we know, he used the head kick very similar to what Leon Edwards used. But what I noticed during earlier parts of the fight is he was dipping a lot like this. I don't know if he was like faking a takedown or just changing Poirier's attention. He was dipping down and then he's throwing heavy hooks, heavy combinations, uppercuts, and stuff like that. And what I noticed is he dips and then he gets him to move his head to the side he ended up getting that knockout on because he was throwing combinations on the other side.
Yeah, he would start off by dipping, throwing that jab with the right hand, and then he would throw a heavy left hook afterwards, and he definitely conditioned him to that, to moving towards the side he got head kicked on.
Yeah, and you can see in this one, he's throwing that right hand to Poirier's, like, the right side of his face, so he's getting him to sort of move a little bit, and you can see he's setting up the kick, and this is the same thing that we saw Leon Edwards do with Kamaru Usman. It was just opposite sides.
It was like a mirror image of it.
Yeah,
Even the way
it
those
was.
guys fell was, like, identical.
Yeah, like, sit on your butt and then fall forward. But it was just crazy, the similarities, and, like, how he set it up, and he was using... It's just, like, it's an art. All of that is. But, yeah, that all that definitely helped him, and then...
You could say it's a martial art, even.
Oh, yeah. I wonder where he got that. But you could see him throw the head kick 3 times in the first round?
He
Two
did.
times in
Yeah,
the
he
first
threw
round?
it 3 times in the first round.
And he just wasn't landing it like he did in the last one.
But Poirier was also trying to block it with one hand. You
can't block that
a
heavy head kick with one hand.
If 2 calf kicks by Justin Gaethje can change the outcome of a fight, that power is it's the same for the head kick, I'm sure. That's going to translate up there. He's very explosive, and you just can't block a head kick with one hand.
Especially not from
You can
Gaethje.
break your arm. You definitely are going to still take some impact. And as you can see here, he did partially block it, but it doesn't matter. It's
so
still
did
wrapped around.
Usman. Whenever, yeah, you can see. If
You have
look at
to
any
get out of the
picture
way,
that.
or you have to block it with 2 arms.
And even then, you're going to damage your forearms. Because those are heavy shots. So another thing I wanted to give some applause to is the stoppage of this fight.
Oh.
So we saw, this was pretty
no
crazy
Steve
to see.
Mazzagatti stoppage.
Yeah. So we saw he got knocked out. Herb Dean is essentially across the cage from them because this was very unexpected. And he runs in after the first kick, slides down onto his butt, and stops the fight, which is just super high class stuff. I applaud Herb Dean for his
He's
stoppage.
the best in the business, no doubt.
This is
Saved many brain cells, I'm sure.
not a stoppage that Steve Mazzagatti would have made because he would have been too busy making his grocery list.
Bleeping milk. Bleeping bread.
Yeah, just I applaud Herb Dean on that.
Yeah, best in the business, no doubt. All right, so we're moving on to the commentators?
Yeah.
Okay,
you
so
say what you
normally,
like to.
normally the commentators, it's fun to look at the memes and the pictures, and like, what's their reaction going to be? Usually it's like, whoa, you know, like
Joe
I can't
Rogan
believe it.
Mostly, yeah.
This time it seemed a little bit different, and John Anik definitely was neutral or rooting for Justin Gaethje. I don't know. He was so excited. Look at DC and Rogan.
DC looks very concerned, and Rogan looks like he doesn't know what's
They
happening.
look like surprised, concerned, sad, like disappointed. I don't know. It was very strange.
Yeah, I've seen like hints of biasness in, I don't know if that's a word, in commentators before, but nothing like this, because every time, no matter what, if you see a knockout like this, they're going crazy.
I am surprised I did not wake up everybody in the house because it was earlier this morning and I was screaming at the TV. I was so excited. Nobody to fist bump because everybody went to bed, but it was...
I had that reaction and I was rooting for Poirier.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, but you can see, like, they look like they're concerned. But
so I don't know if you have a slide on this or not, but the BMF, former BMF title holder,
No,
do we have, no?
Mm-mm.
Okay, that's all right.
Well,
Jorge is just, he's a promoter now. You know, he always hated cutting weight because he loves food. He hated staying on the diet.
loves that 3-piece and a soda, he does.
He looks like he had a few too many 3 pieces in a soda since last time we saw him in the octagon.
Maybe it's turned into a 6-piece
He was
and 2
looking
sodas.
happy, very joyful in the octagon, giving up that BMF belt.
Yeah, he was looking a little bit...
But hey, good for you, Jorge, man.
Yeah.
Nothing but love.
Yeah, speaking of, I also think that they should change the weight classes up a little bit so that people don't have to cut as much weight. Because we are seeing very great acts of athleticism, but can you imagine what it would be like if they didn't just spend a week cutting weight?
Yeah.
It would be so much different. But that would be a very complicated process to change up.
That debate's been going on for a long time, even back to like high school wrestling. Should they be allowed to do this weight cutting? I don't know what the solution is. There's a lot of different proposed solutions and systems that people do.
I don't know if there is a solution because different people are cutting way more weight than others.
Yeah, and there's like they have same day weigh-ins and they have like a hydration test that they can do. But there's just ways to cheat around those things, and what you don't want to do is have a weight bully come in there who game the system. I mean, look at Sage Norcutt. Whenever he moved to one championship, whenever he left the UFC, he went in there, and that system apparently has like there's no weight cutting. They do a hydration test or same day weigh-ins or something. Well, his opponent, who had been in that system for a long time, knew how to game it and came in way bigger than Sage. He was out for, I think, 18 months. He had so many fractures in his face. He got destroyed, and he had so many orbital fractures in his face. They had to like rebuild his face completely. And that was, back in the beginning, there were no weight classes, but now these guys have weight classes for a good reason, for their safety. That fight, I can't even believe it was sanctioned. That guy was so much bigger than him, and it did not turn out well.
It's for their safety in that sense, but if they can find a way to regulate it, that would be very good because
I agree.
It is also endangering them to have them take these weight cuts. I get that they have doctors monitoring them, and weight cuts have been stopped, like Khamzat Chimaev got stopped because the doctor thought this isn't safe anymore, but you see people like, whenever Conor McGregor weighed in that one time, and he just looked like a shell of himself.
Yeah.
Like, there was no meat on his bones at all. Like, that seems dangerous to me.
Yeah. Their face is all sucked in.
If they can find a way to just, like, regulate how much weight that they're allowed to cut by figuring out how much they weigh before and all of that, so you don't have the situation that you were talking about with Norcutt, and they don't have the situation where you have to have people fainting off the scales because they cut so much water.
Yeah, I don't know what the answer is, but I totally agree with the problem.
Yeah.
All right, you ready for the pop quiz hotshot?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Oh, wait. No, I'm not ready. Do you want to just alternate?
I got to make sure you don't see my answers here. Yeah, why don't you go right ahead?
Okay, so 4 of my questions are going to be based off of fighters and their nicknames. So I'm going to give you a fighter, and you're going to have to try and give me their nickname. Okay?
If I don't know it, I'm just going to sit real still and pause the video when you edit it, and then I'll say it and then just unpause when I'm about to start talking.
Okay. You don't edit the video.
No, when you edit it, I'm telling you. I'm giving you instruction.
Marcus Davis.
Ooh, Marcus Davis. Okay, he was very proud of his heritage. He was it Scottish?
I'm not giving you any hints.
Marcus Davis. I know he is a boxer. He was a Golden Gloves boxer. Don't tell. Can I come back to this one?
Sure.
I gotta think about it.
Go ahead. Ask me the first one.
You like the bagpipes? I don't know. Okay. Anyway. All right. How many? And there are 2 possible answers that are correct. Will be accepted. How many champions came out of the famous Militich Fighting Systems camp?
Oh gosh.
Back in the 2000s.
Oh man.
And can you name them?
No, I can't name them. Okay, so Pat Militich camp and okay, so that's my first one.
Okay, yeah, I just gave you that one.
Yeah,
yep, Pat Militich.
I didn't see his finger go up. So this is in his one in Bettendorf.
That's right.
I want to say, I'm gonna look like an idiot on this. I want to say Matt Hughes.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, big time.
That's 2 so far. I'm trying to think of who else came out of that camp. I remember, like, some Ultimate Fighters saying that they train there, but I can't remember who.
That won't help you.
That won't help me? Okay, well... okay,
Another coach of the Ultimate Fighter came from his camp.
Coach of the Ultimate Fighter. Can you give me a weight class of that coach?
Yeah. Lightweight.
I feel like this is just going to make me look worse. Okay, my number? I'm going to give you a number. I'm going to try not to name all of them. 5.
Okay, 5's accepted.
Okay.
So I think it's 5. It's technically 4. So you have Pat Militich. You have Little Evil,
Oh, okay.
Jens Pulver,
Yeah.
Matt Hughes, of course, Tim Sylvia at heavyweight, and then so that's the 4 definite. Robbie Lawler came up in that camp, and then he
Okay.
left that camp and went down to ATT, and the next year
Became
won
champion.
the welterweight championship.
Yeah, I don't
So-
know if I'd.
Yeah, that's why I say
It's
4 or
debatable.
5. I mean, he grew up in that camp. There's all these other champions at welterweight in that camp, and and then he wins it very shortly after. You have to give that to ATT, but I'd still
Yeah.
I like the that was one of the most dominant, amazing camps that's ever been put together. So I'd like to chalk another one up to the Militich team for that.
Yeah. Well,
We'll say 4.5.
I'd say I got half of an answer for
Yeah,
that
that's
one.
pretty good.
A little more than half because I named 2 of them. Okay.
I forgot I need to be thinking about Marcus Davis.
Yeah.
I'm terrible.
This one
with
I
these
think you're gonna be able
nicknames.
to get.
I hope so. Give me an easy one.
Dan Hardy.
Dan Hardy. Okay, I know who that is too. I actually saw Dan Hardy fight George St. Pierre on the big screen live in a movie theater. The only UFC pay-per-view I ever saw.
I didn't
I
know
don't
they
even
played
know if
them
it was
in
a
movie
pay-per-view,
theaters.
but I had to pay to see it. But it was in the movie theater. They played it live.
That's awesome.
And then I saw Dan Outlaw Hardy.
There you go.
All right, I got one.
Good
Hold on.
job.
All right, Dan Outlaw Hardy.
Marcus Davis. I feel like.
Don't tell me. Don't tell me.
Why don't you ask your next one? While you think
Okay,
of it?
yep.
So they're not
All right,
just-
who did Pat Miletich beat to win the inaugural welterweight
Oh,
title?
gosh.
Trick question.
Trick question?
Yeah.
Because he didn't get the. Do you mean interim?
No, inaugural. So the first.
Oh, okay. How is this a trick question?
I'll tell you later.
Oh.
It's actually, that's
don't-
just the question. There's
Are
a
you-
bonus question
okay.
attached to it.
Is it how did he win?
No.
Okay. I'm trying to think about who was in that time era.
I can give you a hint.
Yeah, give me a hint.
He was on the comeback season
Okay, was he a contestant or a coach?
contestant.
Okay. Comeback season of The Ultimate Fighter. I know Eddie Gordon was one of the older ones on that one. I'm trying to think of the older people because
That's good approach.
he would be old. I know that Tim Elliott was older, but he's definitely not in welterweight.
It's not Marcus Hands of Steel Davis, is it?
No.
Oh,
I
it's
mean,
Scott Smith. The bagpipes, the Scottish, he wore the kilt. Oh, he's a Golden Gloves boxer. When was
Can I
that
give you a
close?
hint?
Yeah, please.
He's not Scottish.
Oh, he's Irish? No, he wore the kilt. That's Scottish, right? Scotland?
That's my hint. I gave you my hint.
Oh,
I'm gonna go with. Okay, I'm trying to remember who else was on that season. We watched it a long time ago. I don't. Can I have a different hint? Or no?
he looked like he had a pretty rough life.
Well, like half of them.
He had like eye twitching issues.
Oh my gosh! What was that guy's name? I always think that this guy is Gray Maynard because they look kind of alike to me, but that's not
from the
who it
Lions
is.
Den. One of the OGs from
He's
the
the
Lions
guy
Den.
who like headbutted into the wall, right?
That's possible.
They were like saying like,
Probably.
I bet you couldn't break this wall, and he just started running into it.
That's him.
He had swim goggles on,
You got
so
it.
maybe he was okay.
Yeah, you got it.
But I don't know his name.
Were his eyes twitching before that or just after? It's Mikey Burnett.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I couldn't think
so
of
that's
his
who
name.
he beat. So the bonus question: when Miletich won the strap, what was that weight class actually called?
Oh.
It was 170.
Was
That's
it?
why
Is it a name that's currently a weight class that's
Yep,
different?
Yep. They restructured because
Was
they
it
introduced new
middleweight?
ones. Good guess. No.
Welterweight. Okay, what's below welterweight? 55. So it'd be lightweight.
That's right.
So lightweight.
All right.
Okay.
Good job. We'll give you half a point for that.
Okay. Well. Okay. Frank Trigg. Nickname.
Oh my gosh. Can't defend a rear naked choke. Frank Trigg, one of the recipient of the beating in my favorite fight probably of all time. Frank Trigg. He also refs now. Does that count for half a point?
No.
I saw him
That has
refing. He's
nothing
got a
to
beard.
do with his nickname.
Frank Trigg. I remember him talking trash for that second Matt Hughes fight, talking about, maybe you can bench press more than me, but functional strength. I don't know how I remember this 15 years ago.
And you don't remember his nickname that was used in every introduction.
Okay, first of all, have you seen that fight?
What is it? I wasn't paying attention to what you were
Frank
saying.
Trigg 2, the rematch.
I feel
Frank
like
Trigg
you
got
showed
choked
it to
out.
me.
Oh, of course I did. So Frank Trigg starts the first fight. He gets rear naked choked, and Matt Hughes is famously interviewing saying he doesn't even know that's day one stuff. He didn't know how to defend a rear naked choke. That's like day one stuff. So they start the second fight, and Trigg is the heel. He's like just talking a bunch of trash, even though he got choked out.
Well,
He knees him in the groin, and the referee doesn't see it. And Matt's trying to get away from him, going, wait, because he got hurt. And Frank takes him down and puts a beating on him, mounts him. Looks like he is putting a beating on the longtime champion Matt Hughes, at the time my favorite fighter. And I remember what I was wearing. I was in my underwear in Cincinnati in our apartment, screaming at the TV.
Of course you were.
Probably driving my neighbors nuts. And
I'm sure.
And I was like, no, I was so upset. And then it looked like he was about to finish him. Matt rolls over, Trigg gets him in a rear naked choke, and I'm like, oh, this is, and Mike Goldberg's like, this is exactly like the first fight. Whatever. Anyway, so somehow the country boy survives. He gets out of it. He picks him up in Matt Hughes style, carries him all the way across the octagon, slams him down, gets on him, beats him up, throws some elbows, sinks in a rear naked choke. And this is where the day that I learned what the gable grip was. So he was going for the rear naked choke, and he pulled his hand down. So he switched to the gable grip and tapped him out.
Okay.
Awesome fight.
In
All
light
in
of
one
all
round.
that, what is his nickname?
Also, Dana White's favorite fight of all time.
Okay.
Side note.
What's
it was
his
mine
nickname?
first. Okay, who's Frank Trigg?
Yeah.
I am terrible at nicknames. You know this?
I didn't know
All right,
that.
ask me again at the end. I'll think about that one too.
Okay, but also one thing. It seems easy when someone in
the Irish hand grenade?
Yes, that's the first one.
Yes, I knew I would get it. Thanks
Good job.
for the hint. Thanks for the hint. Okay.
But also, it seems easy when someone in the UFC picks up another person and carries them across the cage. But have you ever tried to pick up another human being your size? Because it seems so much harder in real life. Just saying.
Yeah, that's a good
for
point.
the record.
That's
Like,
a good point. Not too many people do it.
But you don't see a bunch of people do it, and when someone does do it, they make it look easy, and you're like, I could do that. No,
Yeah, the
you
real
couldn't do
challenge
that.
is if the trained person who's fighting against you, who's trained to defend themselves, is trying to not let you do that. How much harder would that be?
Yeah, exactly. Like, just trying to pick up someone who's consenting to it, that's, like, not easy. Okay.
All right, am I up again?
Yeah, you are, because...
All right, I think you're going to get this one. I got faith in you, Sensei. How did Matt
pressure.
Hughes win the welterweight title, and what was the... Okay, that's the main question. The bonus question, there's no points for. So how did Matt Hughes win the welterweight title?
Was this with his fight with Carlos Newton?
That is correct.
Okay, so Carlos Newton gets him in a triangle choke. He's like almost out, and then he picks him up. Again, adding to it, he's about to pass out from a blood choke, and he just picks this guy up. Anyways, slams him on the floor, knocks both of them out, and then Matt Hughes comes to first, and so he is the winner.
Okay, I will accept that answer. Close enough. So he gets him in the triangle choke. Matt Hughes lifts him straight up, walks all the way across the octagon, puts him up against the octagon cage. As Matt Hughes is getting choked out, he slams him down, slams Newton's head off the canvas. Matt Hughes gets choked out. At the same time, Newton gets knocked out. He comes to first, and he's like, what? I won? And then he gets up and he runs and is excited. Amazing, amazing finish.
It's crazy.
Now, bonus question. Definitely, you got a point for that. Great job, Sensei. Bonus question. What was the significance of this win to the Miletich Fighting Systems team?
Oh boy. Did Carlos Newton like give him the finger or something?
Worse.
Oh.
Where did Carlos Newton get that belt?
Oh, was he from their camp?
No, he took it off of Pat Miletich. So he beat Pat
that's
Miletich
sad.
to take the title, and Matt Hughes came in for revenge. Redemption,
Okay.
whatever. Had his boys back.
All right.
All right, so I don't know how many you got here, but I think you have like 2, because you have 2 halves plus a whole.
Okay, yeah. You have 1. And a 1 wait for later.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you have 2.
That's what I thought.
Okay,
and
sorry.
One wait for later.
Brandon Vera.
What's the one I know. Oh, yeah. He has the tattoo of the triangle and the eyeball in the middle of it.
Illuminati.
And then he has like 4 other tattoos on his back. Okay, sorry.
I was like,
So Brandon the Truth Vera?
yeah, good job.
Okay, but the one that you're waiting on is Dan the Outlaw Hardy.
No.
I already said that one.
No, Frank Trigg.
Oh, what's his nickname? That's the one I'm waiting on? Okay.
But
All right, sorry.
go ahead.
It's late in the day. And there's no coffee in here. It's just water. So,
Poser.
okay, question number 4. Who did Jens Pulver beat when he won the lightweight strap?
BJ Penn.
False. That's who
Oh,
he
okay.
defended it against. But, and then what was the significance
I want
to
to
the
say
Miletich Fighting Systems team? You're not going to know this.
Frankie Edgar. I'm trying to think of other people in that weight class. Because I was also older.
I don't think you know this.
I'm just going to name the ones I know. Uriah Faber. Dominic Cruz. That's it. That's all I know.
Before all those guys.
I wouldn't
Dennis
know.
Holman
Yeah.
is the guy's name. What was the significance to the Miletich Fighting Systems team for this?
Is it the same
this win?
significance of last time?
It's double the significance of last time.
But it's not the
question.
same situation? Different situation? Okay, Dennis what?
Dennis Holman famously beat Matt Hughes twice.
Oh, that's
So another
so it
revenge.
literally was double.
Yeah, double
Okay.
the same situation as last time.
Okay, yeah.
So Jens Pulver came in, and so Holman is like not the best fighter. Matt Hughes at the time was like the most amazing fighter, most dominant champion in UFC history. I think he had 5 straight title defenses or 6 or something like that. And then this guy, Dennis Holman, before that championship reign started, Dennis Holman beat him twice. And he is just like some obscure fighter. I don't know, not that great, not a good record. He dropped down to 155 and fought Jens Pulver. And,
Okay, I was going to say, they weren't in the same weight class.
yeah, so Jens Pulver also won the inaugural, just like Pat Miletich, the inaugural lightweight strap. But this one actually was at lightweight, 155.
Okay, this is my last question, and
Okay.
I'm confident that you will get it because we were talking about it
Oh man, I hope
kind
so.
of recently. Who has the most fights in the UFC?
The most fights ever? That has got to be Jim. Likes to hunt and fish. His brother also fought. Why is my brain not working today?
Just say his name, and then you get the point before you distract yourself with the other.
I'm trying to remember his last name.
Oh my gosh.
Jim.
Jimothy.
I love Jimothy. He's so good,
James.
so well rounded, and in his 40s, he's starting to knock people out. He's like
And he
always
has a
been-
cookbook?
and he has a cookbook on Wild Game. How about that? Let me check my Facebook feed real quick because I
Oh
follow
my
him on
gosh.
there. Don't tell me. I'll come back to that, and I'll definitely
Oh my
get this
gosh,
one right.
you have to come back to the last 2.
I know Frank Trigg too. Yeah,
You don't have another question, do you?
I have one. I have one more. Yeah, you
last
started.
question.
Okay.
I feel like I'm not going to get this one.
Why can't I remember Jim's last name?
Just don't think about that. Just read the question and it'll come
Was
to you.
his brother Dan Hardy? It's not Jim Hardy. No. No. Hold on. His name, Miller. Dan
There you
Miller.
go.
Jim and Dan Miller. Okay. Sorry, wrong Dan. All right, Jim Miller. Whew. That was a close one. All right, so what is the... This is another easy
Oh boy.
Easy
Okay.
one. Two-part
No pressure.
question. No, for sure you'll get this. What were the absolute highest point and lowest point of Matt Serra's career?
Okay. Okay, this is easy. Lowest point, spinning back fist knockout, Shoney Carter.
Nice.
Highest point, TKO? Or TKO of GSP
Hey,
to win
you
the
got it,
belt
man.
after
Easy.
he won tough. I don't remember which one that was.
The comeback.
7, 8,
I think it was 6 or 7, but it was the
6 or
comeback.
7.
Yeah. Very good. Well done,
Okay.
Sensei.
Well,
All right.
now you gotta come back.
Frank Trigg. So first of all, do I have 4 out of 4? I just have Frank Trigg to go.
Let me. Okay, hang on. I had it. Frank Trigg. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna say the assassin. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't remember. I'm
Um.
gonna kick myself. What is it?
Okay. This is. I thought this was wrong. This is according to the site I was on.
Oh, I can't stand this guy.
Twinkle Toes.
Oh, that was right. That's right. Twinkle Toes. Shoot. Okay, that would have been funny to remember that.
That would
All
have
right.
been funny to remember that.
So I got 4. How many did you get?
Less than that.
Okay.
Probably
All right.
like 2.5.
Good job. Good
Yeah.
job, Sensei.
We'll probably do this.
You know, most of these questions that I asked
Yeah.
happened before you were born. So actually, I think all of them.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
So not bad.
yeah.
Not bad for... How old are you? 12?
Nope.
14?
Yeah.
14-year-old. Pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, so is that it?
Yeah, that's all we have.
Okay, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you for
You know what? Our sponsor,
Your sponsor?
our sponsor would be, they'd pull the plug if I didn't have a word from our sponsor. So as you know, we came up with a name, The Beard's Bowls.
Mm-hmm.
The Beard's Bowls.
This is not a
.com.
bowl.
This is not a bowl, but my son went on a youth trip to New York State, upstate New York, for the entire week. So I wanted to make him something that I thought he would enjoy as a gift for him coming back. So I captivated him when he got home with this. What is this?
Captive ring.
Captive ring. Thank you. Yes, captive ring, man cup, chalice. There you have it.
Also, if you want to check out his channel, this is what it's called. I'll put it up there. Dad, stop looking at it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And if you want to buy any of the pieces of art that come from the wood, you can do that through something else she puts up there. I don't know.
What?
I don't
Are you
know.
talking about? Okay. Are you talking about what is going to happen?
Yeah.
We're soon going to be setting up a spot where you can purchase some of the featured woodwork from Beard's Bowls.
Right there.
We don't have a name yet. Okay, thank you for tuning in.